for everyone. We've got markets from around the world that are on our call here today, and I believe for just about everybody that's going to be on our call here today, you are not just distributors with NHT Global, you're leaders with our opportunity, with the business. We've definitely got different markets, different countries that are represented here from different organizations, et cetera, et cetera. So we welcome all of you onto this call, and it's an important call. All of these calls are important, but this in particular, and Jamie, you know, you and I go back so many years, and for so many of you that are on this call and this recording, this is going to be played back on Steam Team in the next 24, 48 hours, recorded and played up on Steam Team, is this particular training, or really what I want to share with you is for very serious-minded distributors, leaders, and pretty much entrepreneurs. And for the distributor that takes on our business, that gets involved in our industry, and when I say serious, people that have taken it on full-time, taken it on as a career, and it doesn't matter if you don't start full-time. Most of our global ambassadors, most success, and if you want to use, and we've got our compliance disclaimer on every one of our slides as we go forward here, using the seven-figure annualized income, $1 million status in terms of $1 million income in our industry, inside and outside of our of NHT Global, but as the global ambassador parallel with the other companies that are involved in our industry. So many of the people that have had the kind of success that they're looking for in our business, so many of them did not start full-time. A lot of them, in fact, most of them did start part-time. So it wasn't so much the hours, it was what they put into the hours. And that's partly what I'm going to be talking to you about and more. I'm going to use some analogies here. As an entrepreneur, when someone looks at our industry for the first time, I've been involved in the industry, and I'm talking to you as a friend, as a business partner, as an entrepreneurial business partner, in terms of strategy, how to accelerate your business, move your business from wherever it is to the next level. What do you need to do? Starting there, wherever, or when you're getting started off in the business, you're starting someone part-time, or you're starting someone full-time, and what has worked and why it's worked. And you can see up on the slide here, the first slide, why Platinum and what to do. I'm going to be talking to you about that. So over the next 35, 45 minutes, I want to crystallize as much as I can what has worked here and why it's worked. And again, what I'm sharing with you, I could spend hours on this because I've been doing this now for 31 years. I got involved in the industry, as Jamie had shared with you, back in 1988, but I launched this company with Garcia, my partner, back in 2001. So we have seen every success story. We've seen all of the failures, and we've seen why. And this is what we wanted to, and I want to share with you and talk to you about here today. So first of all, in backing up, this particular conversation is for people that are very focused on just taking this thing, flat out serious. And again, I'm not talking to you about doing this full-time immediately, because so many of our people do start part-time in our business. Here's a few analogies that we've used as a model in how our industry works when people get involved in the industry. People will come into our business. You want to keep the people in the business. And the third thing is you want to move them along. I'll repeat that. You want to bring them in. You want to keep your people in, keep your customers in, and then you want to move them along. If you look at all businesses outside of our industry, inside of our industry, you've got a basic foundation of business that is done, and it's done through repeat business, reorder business, from McDonald's to Microsoft to Apple. It doesn't matter what it is. But for them to grow, there has to be something on the lead. and that's moving them along. There's got to be something in terms of the engine that drives the business forward. For all of you that are distributors, you know our IRP, you know your rank, and you know where you are. Rank 1, rank 2, rank 3, rank 4, wherever you are, right up to rank 9. If you're at rank 9, well, the next one after that is how many rank 9s are you going to have on your team and your organization. That's basically what Darcy and I focus on. But what do you do to get to the next level? From rank 3 to 4, from rank 5 to 6, rank 1 to rank 2. Or if you're just getting started and you're part-time and you want to go full-time, in the next year, 2 years, and have this as a career and ultimately have the residual income that is the tremendous appeal that we have with this industry, what are the things that you can do? Remember this. It doesn't matter so much where you start. It's where you arrive. But there's some important cogs to this machine that have worked in our history we need to share with you, and why they've worked and the strategy behind that. And that'll be the back part of what I'm going to talk to you about. I'll give you some more analogies in traditional business. My uncle just sold his car dealership just in the past year. He owned the largest Ford dealership in the country here in Toronto. Just sold it in the last year. When he started off in the car industry, he started off selling cars. And he ultimately ended up owning the dealership. I ask you, where's the big money? Selling the cars or owning the dealership? If you've got a McDonald's franchise, where's the big money? Selling the burgers at the counter or owning the McDonald's franchise? So in our business, the big residual income, the big organization, the big team is the focus on building the business. The focus within the business is always the movement of the product. We have to move the product. We also have to find leaders to move the product, et cetera, et cetera. So what has worked here, what hasn't worked, and what has worked the best and why? Let's take a look at it. First of all, so many of our great leaders were satisfied customers first. There's two things. You can share the product and then follow up with business, or share the business and then follow up with the product. Those are the two core fundamentals of us demonstrating the opportunity, demonstrating the product, and the movement of our business. Those are the core fundamentals. You share the product, you share the opportunity. You share the opportunity, you share the product. And that's it. There's nothing else after that. It's just those two things. But I want to share with you, again, what has worked and why. I did another training. I've done this a couple of times. It's on Steam Team right now, and it's called the Platinum Philosophy, and why the Platinum package, and starting with the Platinum package, has worked around the world so well, and why it's moved so fast, and why there's been greater retention, greater spirit. Why is the organizations? Why are they growing faster? Why are the checks growing faster? Why has there been greater growth within the team and the organization, just from a personal development standpoint? All of those things are on the Platinum Philosophy training that I have on Steam Team. So that is the Platinum Philosophy. And I talk about growth. I talk about, hitting rank faster, and focusing on building through Platinum, the Platinum packages. Why people get checks, why their checks grow faster, greater retention, greater spirit, greater attitude. People are more committed, and again, greater retention. And yet, if all of these things are an appeal to you, you need to listen to the Platinum Philosophy training. I'm taking it a step further with you in why that works, and also the strategy. I touch on it lightly, but here I'm going to touch it. I'm not going to touch on it. I'm going to talk to you a lot more about it, and that's what this talk is about today, is the strategy in terms of the Platinum package and what to do in the movement of the product. So, why the Platinum package? Why do people, why do Joe and I celebrate it, encourage it, promote it? Bottom line, it works. That's just the bottom line, it works. If you take a look at when we introduced the Platinum package years ago, in China. That was our first market with our very first leadership initially, and this is all part of the Platinum philosophy, so I'm not going to get into too much of what happened, but bottom line, because you can get that all through that training, bottom line, through the Platinum philosophy, when we first introduced it back in China years ago, when sales were flat for a number of years and we were looking for a tool, an incentive, a promotion to drive our business, we introduced the Platinum package, and that gave the serious-minded distributor who was looking at really building a business and, didn't want to start with one or two or three or four products, that was looking to build an organization, build a team, needed a great mix, a broad mix of our products, a great sampling of our products. That was all part of this Platinum package. Now, it was more expensive than any other package that we had ever introduced. Initially, it was turned down by our leadership in China. They didn't embrace it. After about 6 months, they did. But if you take a look at what so much of the nature of our business is our people and our groups and our teams and our organizations are really a reflection of our leadership. Your people will do what you do, not what you ask and tell them to do. They'll usually be watching your feet, not your lips. And so much in leadership is very much like a parent. What a parent is doing, kids will do in excess. So in our business, if you're a retailer, your organization will typically be a strong retailing business. If you've got a strong, building organization or through your team and your organization, you're typically a builder yourself. If you're negative, your people are going to be negative. If you're positive, your team and your organization would be positive. I've always believed, and Joe does, we all do, and we've seen this, is that your organization will be a reflection basically of what you are, your habits, your disciplines, and how you approach the business. So initially, when we introduced this package and it was turned down by and not embraced by our leadership in China, that happened. Their organizations and their teams did the same thing. About 6 months later, after lengthy conversations that Joe and I had with them and the leadership back and forth, our leadership in China embraced it. Long story short, their teams did, and sales exploded over there, and they had incredible growth. We had the same thing, experienced the same thing in Russia, experienced the same thing in Europe, and we experienced the same thing in South America. But why did that work? Why did all of that happen? And Jamie, I think we can go to the next slide here and talking about it working, but why does it work? So first of all, I think with most people that, starting out for our business, first of all, you want to begin with the end in mind. When someone, if they're part-time or they're full-time, they're looking at our business, are they looking at our business just for a passive residual income, a retail income? Is it strictly for the product? Do they like the personal growth? Do they like the camaraderie? Do they like the travel? Do they want to build a large business and a large organization? If that's what you're looking at doing, the focus should be on building a large organization like a virtual franchise, a distributorship very much like a car dealership, or a franchise like a McDonald's franchise, where the focus is on the overall part of the business. The fundamentals that we have are very much the same all the time. Very simple in terms of what we do. Sharing the product, sharing the business, and promoting the next event. But it is a focus on building the business. And again, not so much the hours, but what do they put into the hours is what's critical here. Let's take a look at the benefits of why it works. And let's go to the next slide here, Jamie. First of all, this is why it works from a Platinum standpoint. A survey was done a number of years ago on what was it that couples, families, and people, what do they dream about? What are the things that couples dream about, families dream about, their kids when they sit around as a family, what do they dream about? What do individuals dream about? What are the things that they dream about doing? And here are the top 5, 6 things that they dream about. Number one, a dream home. Number two, dream car, a dream vacation, that education they dream about as a family for their kids, that education at a great university or a great college, getting a great education at a higher university. They dream about financial independence, and they dream about freedom. Most importantly, the time freedom to spend, certainly, just for themselves or with their spouse, with their significant other, and with their family. So home, car, vacation, education, financial independence, and freedom. Our supreme bonus that we introduced a number of years ago, to be a part of that, you have to be a platinum. So to be a part of all of the things that you would dream about, and this is what NHT had looked at doing, is being able to satisfy all of our leadership, all of our people, in terms of the dreams of what they would want through our supreme bonus. And to get there, to qualify for that, you have to be a serious-minded distributor, committed, dedicated to the business, day to day, day in and day out. Not so much full-time, but full-time in terms of the effort that you put into the hours. If it's 2 hours a day or 2 hours every few days, whatever it is, that effort and commitment has to be there. And to do that, to make that happen, we want to have a commitment in terms of them to the business, and we've got that through the Platinum package. And the benefits, as you can see, by qualifying for the Supreme Bonus, you can now qualify for that dream home. Look at some of the people. And by the way, this slide that's popping up right now, those are pictures of global ambassador homes, ambassadors and distributors that we've got. It looks like a picture there of Toronto in the far right, and ambassadors and distributors driving down a highway and on the beach. So this is all a part of what our people dream about and want to be a part of. And to qualify for that, you have to be a platinum to qualify for the Supreme Bonus that allows you to qualify for that dream car. Lena Kasparova in Russia just got her Lexus. Esther Bertha, who had never even thought about but started to dream about when she joined NHT, got her brand new Volvo in her little town and outside of Lima, Peru, and was able to finish her dream home, through becoming a platinum and qualifying for the Supreme Bonus. Incredible the stories that have happened throughout NHT. It's incredible with Esther down in Peru, when she got her Volvo, her brand new, beautiful luxury Volvo, and driving through that very, very modest town. It was like a parade. People were coming out. The whole town came out and celebrated. It's not it's not an affluent area, and she was a hero. She was a local hero and is today in her town in Peru. We just can't count the number of people that have gone on their dream vacations. I just came back from Spain. Garcia, Thomas Kanapik, Elena Kasparova just came back from Greece. And these are not 5-star vacations. These are 6-star vacations. We were in Madrid, Spain, Majorca, and there was 50 of us that qualified for this incredible vacation that 50, 60 of our leaders from I don't know how many countries were a part of. We've got different vacations that are incentives and promotions that are going on an ongoing basis that all of our leadership and all of our distributors from all of our markets around the world can be a part of. So all of this has been huge in terms of what the benefits are in what you can qualify for and be able to satisfy and fulfill your dreams with. And this is all through, again, the Platinum package. So this helps to drive our distributors in driving the bus, driving the business, driving the market through the Platinum packages. And I'm going to talk to you about the movement of the package, and that's the last part of this segment of this training I wanted to talk to you about, is the movement of the product and why that is so critical, and to move it quickly and to move fast. Success loves speed, and I'm going to be talking about that here shortly. But gang, take a look at traditional business today, and you take a look at the benefits. If you go into traditional business today outside of our industry, and I am so familiar with it, as I had 10 years in the corporate world, I had 2 years in private business, I owned and operated my own business, I lived it. I slept it, I ate it, I smelled it. That's all I had for 12 years before I got involved in this industry. So I knew what it was like on the other side, outside of our industry. And for all of you that are on this call, listening to this call live, or you're listening to this call in a recording, you're either an employer or an employee, or you're both, or you've been both, or either. Or if you've never worked before, well, welcome to the working world. But for just about all of you, it's been one of the two or both. You're working for someone, or you own your own business. Joe, you're going to recognize what I'm going to share with you. Look at the benefits that you have, major, massive benefits that you have involved in our industry, particularly here with NHT. In traditional business, you start your own business. Garcia had a franchise. I owned and operated an international marketing company that it was importing cosmetic shampoo and ladies' clothing prior to getting involved in this industry. Plus, I spent 10 years in the corporate world, working 7 days a week in both endeavors. But when I started off in my business, and you take a look at the numbers today, someone starting a business today, if you start a Class A, A1, AAA franchise today, or you start a business today, you're looking at nearly 6 figures in terms of upfront capital that you've got to come up with. The average franchise is around 60 grand. The average startup costs and going into a business today is going to be close to 6 figures. So you're looking at somewhere between 60, 70, 80, close to 100,000 for the average person that looking at startup costs in terms of capital. What does it cost you to start with a platinum package? The second thing is that say your business, in traditional business, 2 years from now or a year from now is not working out for you. Can you go back to the bank or wherever you got the money and say, look, this thing is not working out. I want to get my money back. No, you got to make this thing work. You're going to lose it. And most companies do not survive their first year in traditional business. With NHT, we don't trumpet it or promote it too much, but it's there. And it's on our disclaimer from a compliance standpoint to support all of our people to get involved in our business. If it does not work out for you in most of our markets from a compliance standpoint, within 12 months, you still get your money back on the unopened product that you haven't moved, retail, or consumed. Incredible. But most of the startup costs here with NHT as a platinum package, total cost in a couple of grand relative to your market and the currency exchange wherever you are, Europe, India, et cetera, et cetera. But we're looking at just a couple $1,000s. So the startup, to me, that is not personally an upfront, and relative to traditional business, is when you got 6 figures invested, you're going to get up early, you're going to work late, and you're going to work 7 days a week. You look at the people that get involved in our industry, when you get started, if you got a low entry, for the most part, it seems like it's going to be a low commitment. But if you've got a higher entry in terms of commitment, you're going to have financially, you're going to have a higher commitment in terms of dedication to the business, working the business, the hours that you put in, all of that. So, that is so much relative to your effort, to your business, relative to what's happening out in traditional business today. Traditional business today, the startup costs are astronomical relative to the startup costs that we have in our industry. Look at the hours that you got to put in traditional business versus what we've got here. In traditional business, you've usually got countless employees. If you got a McDonald's franchise, you got a whole team of teenagers that are running your business. Pretty good model, though. It seems to work for them over there. But here, you really don't have any employees. Everyone is an independent contractor. So look at the failure rate. Look at the failure rate in traditional business. But, people that focus on our industry and say, well, I know someone who failed. Oh, really? Well, I know someone who failed in, life insurance. I know someone who didn't make it in real estate. I know that traditional business or traditional endeavors today outside of our industry, look at the retention rate and look at the activity rate and take a look at the attrition rate of those businesses or industries. Do you know that 96% of the people that enter pre-med never become physicians? 85% of the people that enter accounting never become a CA or a CPA. Over 50% of marriages today don't work. Over 85% of the people that enter the military never get promoted. And 90 to 95% of the people in real estate, financial services, or the retail sector where I come from, within 12 months, part-time or full-time, are no longer with that business. Incredible. And I forget what the number is, but it's staggering that well over 50% of the people that get involved in real estate never sell one house. So when you take a look at the norm outside of our industry and what's happening relative to what's happening here, the opportunity and the benefits are staggering. It's what you put in is what you're going to get out. How long does it take to turn a profit in traditional business today? Traditional business, they say it takes nearly 5 years before you're turning a profit. This is a fact. Over 80% of our global ambassadors got there in less than 5 years. Traditional business. What's it like with your commute? My God, here's another massive benefit that you've got to becoming coming in the Platinum package and being part of the Supreme bonus. What does your commute like every day? Ask Dalibor Strop how he is building his business. His commute every day is from his bedroom to his home office. So it might be about 40 feet. And I think his house is growing, so it might be 80 feet. Look at the potential. You take a look at the potential that you have in traditional business today. What are the benefits there? What are the benefits like here? If you take a look at traditional business today, for the most part, if it's traditional business or a franchise, most of your potential and your opportunity is local or regional. If you're lucky, you're fortunate, and your model had it, it's national. It's rare. Very rare, it's international or global. Out of the box, our potential is global immediately. If you look at most of our people that do our business, part-time or full-time, massive benefit, massive potential is that part-time or full-time, within 12 to 18 months, over half of their business is outside of their country. Most of their people, their distributors and their customers, they don't even know. So in the very beginning, you will know most of your distributors, you'll know most of your customers. Over time, you won't know most of your distributors or most of your customers. In the very beginning, you'll be working for most of your income. Over time, you won't be working for most of your income. Here, these are some of the massive benefits that people don't get and understand. In the very beginning, you will be really underpaid for your efforts. Over time, you're going to be overpaid for your efforts. So, traditional business today, here's another one. I remember, and Garcia will share this with you as well. You go into a franchise today, what is the paperwork like and the documents? You got to sit down with your lawyers, et cetera, et cetera. The average Class A, A1 franchise today, for some of us, and this is a generational thing, take a look at an old New York phone book or Toronto phone book. It was like 8 inches thick. That is what it's like to fill out the documents and going into a franchise today. Take a look today what you've got to go through to get registered and get started here with NHT. You can get all of your questions answered in a couple of hours, even in 30 minutes, and what you really need to do to get yourself started. We're publicly traded. We're fully transparent. We trade on the most scrutinized index in the world, so that protects all of our people. Massive, major benefits. Now, in terms of strategy, let's go to the next slide here, Jamie. You know, what has worked? I've always said thoughts determine what you want. Action will determine what you get. No one has moved the Platinum packages faster, more efficient, and quicker than the Chinese. They're a great model. Tony Robbins has said it. Jim Rohn has said it. Brian Tracy has said it. Dan Cato is saying it, is that one of the best ways to be successful in whatever you do, find someone who's having tremendous success in what you want to do and model it. So, Platinum package, it's a clue. Now, as I shared with you, we embrace every bronze. We embrace every silver, every ruby, every emerald relative to the compensation plan in respective markets that we have around the world, the different packages that we have, or the different levels when you come in. But the Platinum packages are universal across the board. But we embrace everyone at every position. We have got many of our success stories where people have started, just with even one product and two products, and they started as customers, satisfied customers first. But I'm talking to you as entrepreneurs, as business partners, and what has accelerated organizations the fastest, the quickest, with the greatest retention, with the greatest commitment, the greatest excitement, and the greatest growth. We have to share this with you. It's been the Platinum packages and the Platinum strategy. Why did it work in China? Well, number one, they embraced it. Number two is they moved the product. If you fail to plan, you plan to fail. If you fail to plan, you plan to fail. I've always said if you don't have a plan, you'll probably end up being a part of somebody else's plan. Usually, what do they have planned for you? Not much. Our simple plan that we have with a Platinum package, number one, is this: move the product. The Chinese, their goal is to move it within 30 days, and they do. Most of our ambassadors over there that have gotten the Platinum packages, this is incredible, the statement I'm going to share with you. Their Platinum packages, not only did they move them within 30 days, they're reordering in 30 days. Incredible. How do they move an entire package and reorder within 30 days? I'm going to share with you. First of all, number one is once they've got, and gang, remember what they go through in China. There's no open meetings in China. Just about every other market that's listening to our call here today live and recorded, wherever you are in the world, we have open opportunity meetings, open trainings. We could talk about the compensation plan, respective to the compliance, regulatory laws that you have in your respective markets, and we respect all of that because we don't make income claims, we don't make product claims, et cetera, et cetera. But in China, they can't even have a presentation where they talk about the opportunity meeting for more than 3 people. But that's where we had the greatest growth with the Platinum packages. Now, they've had other issues outside of, and that's to do with what's happening with geopolitical issues, et cetera, but that had nothing to do with what was working with our Platinum packages, which soared for them over there. This is what they did. Number one, when they got their Platinum package, remember they had a mix, you've got a broad mix of products for the most part. But their plan was to move their product within 30 days. How did they do it? First of all, every family member, every friend, colleague, associate they had in their warm market, their immediate circle, they would get them on the product immediately. Within 1 week, they had basically taken, they were on the products, they were on all the products, through their Platinum package, from the skincare to, they were trying the Allure, their health products, whatever they might be. They were on the products. But they would get their immediate family and their immediate warm market and circle all on the products because they wanted to get they wanted to get a testimonial from them, but they wanted to get their opinion. They wanted to find out, how do you feel? What do you feel from the product? What benefits were you getting from the product? They basically would get, within a week to 10 days, just about everybody from that warm market on the product. The product will not move if it's on your shelf. The product will not move if it's in your house, if you're out building the business. So when we have focused in our markets, and I say our markets outside of China, and that is in the from Western Europe to Eastern Europe to Russia to South America, home parties, home presentations, boardroom presentations, library, restaurant, trade shows, doesn't matter. Wherever you can, to whatever you do, get the product out to people to get them on it, using it, consuming it. So, we've always said demonstration, not information. Demonstration, not information. Results, not ingredients. So we're more concerned about the results. We want to hear from them. You tell us what you think about the product. Bottom line, they get the product out. What is happening, within 30 days, they're getting multiple stories and testimonials coming in. Multiple, not one or two, but multiple. On many of these people want more product. They want more product. Now they're ordering. What do they order? They order what that person ordered, depending on what they're looking at in terms of the business. If they want just the product, they order the product, and they'll order directly from the company, or they'll order again from the person they got the product from. But they're, if at all interested in the business, where do they start? They'll start where that person started, which is where? Platinum. Because people will always do what you do, not what you ask and tell them to do. And the majority of the time, if you guys, gals, if you're looking at our business and our industry, 98% of the time when you bring someone into the business, they will ask you where you started. So for the most part, wherever you started, your team and your organization, not across the board, but for the most part, not every time, but for the most part, people will do and start where you started or what you do. So the most important thing was the movement of the product and making a commitment. Remember, we're serious. This is not for someone who's just poking along in this business or treating it, kind of like a hobby. And I've always said this: if you treat it like a hobby, it'll pay you like a hobby. But treat it like a business, and it can pay you like a business. And over time, a lifetime residual income that will provide all of the beautiful freedom and the benefits that we just talked about in the previous slide. So again, in backing up, in terms of the strategy, it's that warm market, that inner circle. Everyone that you know in that platinum package, you want to get that package out, gone, done within a week to 10 days with a home party, presentation, meeting, library, restaurant, whatever it is, where you can do a presentation or have your upline, if you're brand new to the business, your sponsor, your team upline do that presentation, that meeting for you. Again, we had talked about the challenges that we've had in China, but we've seen the success that we've had in Peru. We're about to open another market down in South America, which is Bolivia. That'll be the next market that we have down there. But 3 weeks ago, we were closing up and wrapping up our week-long trip that we had in Spain, and this was in Majorca. And I spoke, Dalibor Strop, he spoke about the launch of India. Thomas Kanapik, who's got all of India and Europe as part of his organization, as well as South America. He spoke. Elena Kasarova, who's the head of Russia and Eastern Europe, she chatted. But it was the talk that really, all of this resonated with our people. But Kazoo, who's our leader and our top leader that we have down in South America, when he spoke, boy, did they listen. His chat was for about 15 to 20 minutes, but what he talked about is really the essence of our business. And it was what he came down to, it was work. It was flat out activity. And it was not just sharing the product or sharing the business, once or twice a week. He did, and it didn't matter if this is what he did, but he would get the same commitment relative to the hours of the people on his team doing the same thing. Again, it wasn't so much the hours, it was what they put into the hours. But every day, all day, through his organization, if they weren't sharing the product, they were sharing the opportunity. But if they shared the opportunity, they shared the product. They followed up with it. So they would lead with the business, but then they would follow up with this is why the business works, is because of these incredible products. Or they'd lead with the products, And then they follow up with the business saying, hey, would you like to get the product for wholesale? And it was every day, all day, 7 days a week. And it was this spirit and this attitude of not taking this for granted and a fear of loss, of just so committed to the activity, the money-making activities. Because if you're doing anything else other than sharing the product or sharing the business, you're probably not making any money. And if you want to know, for all of you most of you that are on this call, you have an organization. Remember we talked about the speed of the pack is always dictated by the speed of the leader? Ask yourself this question. If my entire organization did what I did today in the last 24 hours, would have I made any money? Would I have been productive? So don't expect your group to do things that you're not doing. Now, over time, that will happen. And that's the beautiful appeal and benefit, again, that you have to NHT Global, is that it's not a 40 to 45-year plan. This can be a 3 to 5 to 10-year plan relative to your commitment, your work ethic, your hours, what you put into the business. Remember, over 80% of our ambassadors got there in less than 5 years. But the other ambassadors, it's taken them 6, 7, some will take 10. But if it took you 12 to 15 years to get those benefits, fulfill those dreams that we talked about and the benefits that you have here with NHT, would it be worth it? Is it worth it to you? Is it worth it to your family? Is it worth it to your children? Is it worth it, what you put into this? Take a look at the alternatives. Take a look at the benefits that you have outside of our industry. How long and what type of commitment, what type of sacrifice would you have to make outside of our industry to get the same benefits in traditional business? I've been there. Most of you have been there, or you're there now. That's why the ones that are doing this business, that build through Platinum, that are committed to this business long term, who've planted our flag here and are having so much fun here, are doing this because we know what it's like on the other side. So I've always said, if you do what you have to for the next several years, you can do what you want for the rest of your life. Jamie, I want to thank you very much for allowing me onto our call. We got the greatest organization, I believe the greatest opportunity in the world. Activity overcomes negativity. It will lead you to productivity. But thank you, my friend, and thank you, gang, for listening.